Forward Party. Welcome, Forwardists. 3 years. 3 years. Can y'all believe it? Wow. Now that was an awesome video. Do you see all of those happy people committed to making a difference, committed to changing this country for the better? If that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Now, and the media is now catching on to this, that this country needs options and choices at the ballot box. But this isn't news to us, y'all. We have always known this. We know America needs a new party to elect officials driven to solve problems, to find solutions, not driven by extreme ideologies or interest groups. A party built from the ground up by a grassroots movement. We have been doing the things others can't or even won't. The hard stuff, the really hard stuff. And that's what we are celebrating tonight. That is the very reason why we are here. We are here to celebrate you. We are here to celebrate all the things that we have done. And most importantly, we also want to thank you. We want to celebrate with you and of you. We want you to help us grow this party for the next 3 years, or even better yet, the next 30 years. That's why we are doing this. We are celebrating 3 years of the Forward Party tonight. We are America's new party. Welcome to our birthday bash. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to get right into our amazing program now. We have a great lineup of speakers and guests tonight. And I want to get it going with some of the very special guests to talk about a very important topic. I want to welcome our very first special guest. Did you guys know that there are over 1.4 million independent voters in Pennsylvania, and they are locked out of voting in party primaries, denying them a key step in our electoral process and silencing their voices, denying their rights to vote for who they want to represent them. This isn't right, y'all. And it's the same story in many states across this country. Independents are locked out of the system intentionally by legacy parties. 2 weeks ago, 4 brave voters in the Keystone State filed a petition to open up closed primaries to independent voters. More independent voting is better for everyone. This would help reset control from the extreme in each party. So we are joined by 2 of those plaintiffs today. Michael Smerconish, nationally syndicated radio host and CNN host and contributor. I know we all love Michael. And with him is one of the other plaintiffs, Rachel Shonick, who is one of the leaders of the Forward Party in Pennsylvania and one of our great volunteers on our women's committee. We love Rachel too. We are really lucky to have them join us today to discuss why this petition, why now, and what it means for independent voters. To moderate our panel, we have our amazing Forward CEO, Lindsay Draft, who will ask them the questions. Lindsay?
Thanks, Brandon. What a kickoff to this call, and thanks for coming tonight. Thank you to Michael and to Rachel for joining us on the call to discuss their landmark case. First, I want to thank both of you all for standing up for what's right for voters in Pennsylvania. The closed party primary system is way too exclusionary. It's a major tool that the legacy parties use to maintain the status quo and decide who you get to vote for. So, Michael, I'm going to put the first question to you. Why now? What motivated the plaintiffs in this moment to petition to change the primary system in the Keystone State?
Lindsay, thank you for having me. Thank you, Brandon, as well. Nice to see Rachel and Andrew Yang and others. The answer to your question is because there's been a great deal of discussion going on among legislative leaders, and we had hoped that the legislature would come to this conclusion on their own, but we reached a point where it seemed futile that those conversations would continue and that a King's Bench petition was necessary to try and change this 1937 law. It's been that long that we've had this exclusionary process in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as you've already noted, it means 1.4 million of our voters get shut out of the primary process. I am a lifelong Pennsylvanian. I turned 18 in the spring of 1980, followed my parents, as I think most of us do, in my case, into the Republican Party, and by 2010 was no longer comfortable as being a member of the GOP. As far as I know, I've never missed an election for which I've been eligible to vote. That's how much voting matters to me. And it galls me to think that I'm footing the bill for primary elections in which I can't participate as a non-party affiliate. And we all know that primary elections are often outcome determinative, so that by the time I get a selection in a general election, it's a lesser of two evils. And frankly, the die has already been cast. Mostly what motivates me to take this lead position is that I want to introduce influences of moderation, because extremists are the ones who are thriving in the status quo, and that's got to change. Final thought, we're one of 9 pure closed primary states in the United States: New York, Florida, 2 of the other biggies. And if we can make this change in Pennsylvania, I think we'll really be on the vanguard of opening up the system where nationwide 30 million of us can't vote in primary elections.
Yeah, Michael, thank you so much for that. I'll tell you, as a voter in the District of Columbia, as an independent, I was one of those numbers, and hope soon not to be any longer after the reforms that have passed here. I also want to call out, I don't know if you did it on purpose, but I'm loving your purple shirt, Michael.
Oh,
So
it's deliberate. It's
thank you so
I own
much.
this color. Although Brandon was rocking it as well. So
Hey, we've got purple all over the place tonight. So, Rachel, what have you learned through this process? So, I want to bring Rachel Shannock up here because not only is Rachel someone who has signed on to this petition with Michael, she is also a leader in our Pennsylvania State Party and one of the leads on the National Women's Committee as well. So, Rachel, what have you learned through this process that you think volunteers and Fordists in other states, how could they use this to make their voices count more in elections?
I think something I've learned and something that people can really do is to make sure that you understand the rules and how things are run where you are, because it differs greatly by state. Identify the barriers and then work with partners and partner organizations to become stronger and pursue the changes that we all believe in through many avenues. So partner organizations, maybe advocacy. Forward is running candidates. The legislators currently, as Michael said, are not incentivized to make these changes on their own. So there's other ways, to make change. And so I'm happy to attach myself and Forward Party of Pennsylvania to the petition, because I believe it's a strong case and I believe in the outcome.
It is. I love that you invoked all the different tools that we need to access in our toolbox here, Rachel, as we're fighting for change in this country. Back to you, Michael. So we're here celebrating our third year of doing the hard work of building the party infrastructure necessary to change the status quo. Based on your experience with this petition and giving a voice to the independent voter who have previously been locked out of the process, in the Commonwealth in particular, do you have any advice for all the folks on this call about getting involved in the political system that many of us feel is rigged against us?
well, it is rigged against us. And in a word, engagement. Gallup annually asks the self-identification question. It always is something that I object to, because then they ask a follow-up question as if you didn't mean it the first time. And what I'm referring to is that 43% said they don't identify as an R or a D, but as an I, in comparison to 28% who said a Republican or a Democrat. But the passion exists on those polar extremes. And if there's anything that bothers me when people question me about my non-party affiliation, it's that they interpret it as a sign of weakness or lack of commitment. I'm committed to plenty of issues. They just don't neatly align in those faux ideological boxes at one end of the spectrum or the other. And those of us who feel this way, that you can be a critical thinker and independent and need not be affiliated at either end of the spectrum, it's time for us to step up and be engaged.
That's fantastic. You sure do sound like a Fordist, Michael, I got to tell you. Last question. Let's go back to Rachel. Rachel, how has the experience of taking the leap and becoming a plaintiff on this position strengthened your resolve to keep volunteering and keep fighting?
Kind of like I said, it's definitely drawing some media attention, which then produces more volunteers to Pennsylvania Forward that we can engage, like Michael said, and support our candidates and explain our message and our mission, which is, as we all know, sometimes a challenge to get across. And the more reps you have explaining it, the better and more receptive people are to it. There's a huge appetite for this. And the headlines certainly help, and the questions that I get an opportunity to answer, or the people I get a chance to speak to, are very welcome.
Well, you all are incredible. Rachel, special shout out to you for all the different hats you wear on behalf of the Forward mission. We're so grateful. Michael, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for signing on to the petition, and thank you for your purple. We love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Lindsay. Wow, that was awesome. That was dropping some knowledge. And thank you so much, Michael and Rachel, for sharing this important story with us tonight. Really important work in Pennsylvania on behalf of our independent voters. So right now we're going to get into a few housekeeping rules, right? There's things that we want to do with this party to make this party really fun, but we also must remember we are doing it together. We will be answering a few of your questions tonight, so go ahead and drop them in the chat, and our team will answer as many as they can. And some we will actually read out tonight loud here and give you a live answer. We are also going to have a lot of fun tonight. Remember, we are here with some amazing special guests. I can't wait for you all to see what we have in store for you tonight. This is going to be fun, and this is going to be empowering. Politics runs on money. We're here to fundraise as well as celebrate with you. So throughout the next hour, we are going to see just how much we can raise together. So far this week, we have raised $5,330 have been donated, and we are looking to break the $30,000 mark by the end of this call. Can we do it? I believe we can. We will make it easy for you. We will provide you with the link and a phone number to text, and we'll be tracking towards our goal with this meter. Now, the amazing news, and I mean amazing, is that with our donations tonight, we have had some very special donors who have agreed to match what we raise at this event. So your donations are doubled. Every dollar you donate equals $2 to the cause. Here's the link in the chat, and here is the number to text to donate. Let's smash these goals tonight. I believe we can go far above and beyond what we intend to do. All right, let's keep it moving. So now on to the fun stuff. We have been doing the hard work it takes to build a new party from the ground up. We have been building state parties and affiliates. We have been driving towards ballot access in states. We have been recruiting and training candidates, recruiting and training volunteers, raising that money, talking to you all to find out how you feel and where you stand on the issues. Imagine that. How strange of a concept in today's political environment. But all right, we have heard the crisis, and we've heard the critics say that new parties can't win, and new parties are just spoilers. You know who says that? The entrenched parties who do not want us to win. They want to convince voters we cannot do it. They are the ones who want to knock us down and lock us out. The only thing the two-party system hates more than each other is a third party. They only want to run against each other. And that's the root of a lot of problems in America today. We are a threat to them and their special interest. They all want to put us down and shut us out. But in this next segment, we will introduce to you some folks who have already proven them wrong. I want to introduce to you some of our current elected officials and state party leads who have done the work and who have the receipts to prove it. They're showing America that we aren't spoilers. We are running to win. They're going to share with us their experiences serving, running, and winning with the Forward Party. Here is State Senator Daniel Thatcher of Utah, former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, Deke Copenhagen, and Centennial, Colorado Senate Council or City Council member Robin Karnes to have a conversation with Lindsay again, our Forward Party CEO.
Thanks, Brandon. And hello to our amazing friends, City Council member Robin Carnes, Centennial, Colorado, in purple, no less. I love it, Robin. You guys should see her campaign materials. They're in a birthday hat. I love it. I love it. Senator Daniel Thatcher. Daniel Thatcher is a man of incredible integrity. He had been elected to the Utah State Senate, if you all don't know, as a Republican. He did not agree with his colleagues in the Republican Party in the state of Utah and bravely stood on the steps of the Utah Capitol building to switch to the Forward Party. We are so thrilled. And former Augusta Mayor Deke Copenhaver has joined us. Deke is an independent OG leader. He's incredible. He is a North Star for us as we message about how independents can lead, and we learn from him. We're so glad you all are here. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off with Councilmember Carnes. Robin, why did you want to run? So last cycle, Robin ran for the state Senate in Colorado. We were thrilled to endorse her. She ran on a Republican ballot because at the time that was the option. And so she ran as a forward Republican. How do you think that designation has helped you serve your constituency in Centennial, Robin? And how were you hoping that designation was going to influence and support you to serve a larger swath of the electorate in Colorado?
Well, in Colorado, hi everybody. Welcome. Happy third birthday, Forward Party. So thrilled to be part of you. In Colorado, well over 50% of voters, we are the pioneer state, are independents or unaffiliates. So they're fed up with the extremes. And so I knew if I want a chance of even winning, I have to be more moderate. Both of the extremes have gone too far. We are dominated by one here in Colorado. And we all know that balance is a good thing. Whether we're riding a bike, right, or whether we're doing yoga, balance is really important. And we don't have it in Colorado. So I wanted to run with Forward to bring that balance back, not only to the state legislature, but also in a nonpartisan race like city council is. It's really important to have that. And I wanted to be able to relate to the majority of the voters, which are the purple people. We call ourselves the purple people, right? Because we're different. We dare to stand apart from the rest. So as far as Lindsay, did you also want to know sort of like how it impacted my race? Because I'd love to share.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. Yeah, I'd love to hear that, Robin. I know everybody would love to hear that as well.
So when you think about, especially my Senate race, we ended up going after an incumbent, and we only lost by 4%, which was absolutely unheard of. When it comes to the other folks that ran the Republican ticket, I dominated, meaning that I lost by the smallest margin. Most of the time, you all know incumbents win by a majority. We only lost by 4%. So I think it spoke volumes to sort of go out on a limb. And I will just add, I thought I would have much greater financial backing from the party that actually had the letter behind my name, and I got 0 from them. So to lose by 4%, even without that additional cash, I think speaks volumes. And I'll just say this, we're only getting started.
Yeah, Robin is incredible, and she has been introducing us to other members of the Centennial City Council, which we've really, really enjoyed having those conversations. So thank you for being here. Robin talked about something that's really important here, which was funding, and obviously we are raising money tonight, and that is because in order to run as an independent, you have to have infrastructure that traditionally the two-party system provides you. So what does it look like to run a race as an independent? And function outside of that two-party system. Mayor Copenhaver, when you ran as an independent for mayor of Augusta and you were fiercely committed to serving in a nonpartisan way and maintaining your independence, Would it have made a difference if you had a national infrastructure and a support system for you that said, look, we're here to support you. We're here to give you, you know, door knocking information and data, an ability to raise money, talent, and a campaign manager, but we're not asking you to adhere to any dogmatic principles. We're saying serve the people of Augusta. Would that have made a difference in your candidacy?
It would have made a huge difference. And I do believe people will go to an alternative if they're provided that. The two legacy parties don't provide an alternative. So I never pandered to the extremes. And in 3 elections here in Augusta, Georgia, in the city of 200,000 people, I won with an average of 64% of the vote by going to the people, not going to the extremes. So it can work. I mean, I've seen it work here. People are tired of the toxic polarization that we're seeing, which is not leadership. You cannot lead to the extreme. That's just leadership is about bringing people together on common ground, period. And that's what we're doing. And we're putting the fun back in dysfunction.
We sure are. We sure are. Mayor Copenhaver is a musician and a student of music, and every conversation with him is a surprise, and it's amazing. Senator Thatcher, you are the highest ranking seated elected official on a forward party line around the country. Thank you for your leadership. You took the leap, you switched to the forward party while you were in office. What has the response been from your constituents?
So I think you can probably predict. I love the phrase Brandon used. I'm going to stop calling them legacy parties. I'm going to start calling them entrenched parties. Predictably, the entrenched parties are threatened and they don't like it. But my constituents have been almost exclusively positive. The negative feedbacks have all been just kind of, social media, echo chamber nonsense, but none of them are actually directly communicating with me because that's not what you do when that's who you are. The people that have reached out and have spoken to me have been almost exclusively positive. In fact, the legacy party likes to feel like they own seats, like this is our area, but you set the Wayback Machine, Sherman, and you go back to 2010 when I first ran. I ran in an area that hadn't elected a Republican since the 70s against an entrenched 30-year incumbent who outspent me $116,000 to 8. It wasn't the Republican Party that won that seat. It wasn't people saying, we're ready for a Republican. It was me wearing out 3 pairs of shoes, knocking doors, looking people in their eye and saying, do you care about donkeys and elephants? Or do you care about your kids' education, your tax burden, and whether or not you can safely go to and from work? And that's it. As far as I'm concerned, my obligation to the party is not to embarrass them, but what happens when they start embarrassing you? You look at the
Andrew's laughing.
Party. What's that?
I can see Andrew laughing. I think that resonates.
Oh yeah,
with
no,
Andrew.
that's funny. I mean, how many people are embarrassed to be either Republican or Democrat nowadays?
It's funny. You made a comment before, and in my head, I pictured a bell curve, right? For those of you that are familiar with a bell curve, it's the legacy parties seem to be in a race to the bottom. How far out can we get away from where the vast majority of all human persons, we just want representation. We want a meaningful vote. We want someone who is accountable. It's not realistic to expect someone to agree with every single policy position. And I love what Mr. Smirkanish said about the faux ideological boxes, because they're phonier than a $3 bill.
Yeah. Daniel, you're amazing. We've been so grateful for your leadership and all of you all. Thank you so much. Thank you to Robin. Thank you to Deke. Thank you to Daniel. And I'm going to pass it back to Brandon.
Wow. If that was some powerful, powerful stuff. Thank you so much for sharing all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge. And what it shows you is we serious out here in the streets. We are serious about winning. We are serious, a third party that is going to be not something that is a spoiler, but something that's definitely going to upset all of this. So thank you again, Daniel, Deke, and Robin, for your stories and for your hard work. And okay, this is why you heard Robin say it. This is why we got to mash that donation button. We got to send text. We got to click on that link. Let's see where the meter is at. Oh, 15,000, y'all. I am loving this. That is not bad at all. Let's keep it up. Remember, all donations tonight will be matched. Make sure you are dropping questions in the chat because we love to talk and we love to answer the questions that you have. And we have one question that we're going to go live with. And this question is from Susan Rico. Her question is, does Forward still welcome Republicans and Democratic candidates to identify as forward Democrats or for forward Republicans, as long as they align with our values and policies? Lindsay, why don't you give us this answer?
Thanks, Brandon. So we are absolutely welcoming of Republicans and Democrats who want to sign our pledge and adhere to our values. The reality is building a new political party, in spite of what Elon Musk might tweet, is really long and hard work. And it means that you have to go state by state to achieve ballot access. And as Senator Thatcher said, the entrenched parties have done a really good job pulling up the ladder behind them to make sure it's really difficult for us to get that ballot access. But we want to make sure that folks who are in current positions of elected office, like Robin, where we don't have ballot access, are able to affiliate with us. And what we'd like to start to see happening is in some of these states where we don't have ballot access, what does it look like for a fulcrum of legislators in the state house and state senate in Capitol buildings across the country to start to caucus together? What does it look like for a forward caucus to come together with Republicans, Democrats, independents, and then as we get ballot access, forwardists? You know, Robin was also talking about the nonpartisan nature of most of our municipal seats around the country. So even if we don't have ballot access in a particular state yet, we can support candidates who are running in nonpartisan races with forward support. So we absolutely welcome Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party, Libertarians. If they want to come, they want to sign our pledge, they want to, govern and uphold our collective values, and govern from a place of integrity, we welcome them. Thank you for the question.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for that. Now I want to introduce you to a few more superstars leading the Forward Party. I don't think they really need introduction. In fact, I am pretty sure they don't. Academic, activist, and one of the leaders of the Tennessee Forward Party, Dr. Lauren Pinkston, is going to ask a few questions about why Forward and why now to founding co-chair Andrew Yang and CEO Lindsay Draft.
And good to see everybody. I'm excited to hear more from you guys tonight. And I'll start with you, Andrew, because you envisioned this movement 3 years ago. And I'm curious what you'd say. How has it evolved from, or even maybe surpassed your original thoughts when you started this venture?
Well, thank you, Lauren. The difference is human beings. It's people. I mean, you say, look, America needs a new party, which it 100% did and does more than ever. But then you can't predict Clint Eisenhower and MJ Hall and Senator Thatcher and Robin Carnes and like all these people who are making the case where they live in their own community and inhabiting the party and making it real. Everything's imaginary until people step up. And so it's surpassed anything I would have drawn up because of the humanity and the character, the integrity. One of my jokes is that everyone's here for the right reasons because there's absolutely no other reason to be here. You know what I mean? Whereas if you look at the two entrenched parties, to quote Dan, there are a lot of people there who are not there for the right reason, and if you showed up for the right reasons, unfortunately, I think you got tested and in many cases corrupted over time.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of big feelings in politics right now, and maybe just a heyday of people searching for something new and different. And Lindsay, from your perspective, coming in as CEO of this party, how would you say the political environment has shifted over the last 3 years to really prime us for this moment of opportunities present to Forward?
Yeah, I think that, thank you, Lauren. The folks who founded this this party 3 years ago as part of a merger. Andrew founded Forward in 2021, as you said, and joined forces with Michael Wilner and the team over at the Serve America Movement and Governor Whitman and the team over at RAM. That in and of itself, I just always want to call out, like the origin of our birthday story, the thing that we're celebrating is three organizations and leaders setting ego aside. And what's really, I think, shifted a lot is how we have continued to see that commitment to coalition building progress. Clint Eisenhower and the team in South Carolina led a merger with the South Carolina Independence Party. Shout out to our Minnesota team, who just led a merger over the weekend with the Independent Alliance Party of Minnesota. Hugely transformational. Our Utah team and Senator Thatcher was on the call, led a merger with the United Utah Party. So that coming together and that coalition building, I think, is evidence of how people are wanting to come together, put kind of partisan ideology aside, and get together and really do the work. And this isn't a partisan statement; it's just a fact. Is in 2025, we find ourselves in a national political system where the three branches of government are not functioning in the way that they were intended to be. And again, not a partisan statement, just a factual one. You've got, the legislative branch is ceding power to an executive branch, which means it's not the functional representative government that we're all looking for. And so Americans are hungry. They are looking for that. They are seeing us here and they are coming to us. And it is our job to make sure that we have built a home when people come to us and say, look, I don't want to be disenchanted with our political system. I want to get to work. What can I do to help? That we're here to answer that call.
Yeah, that's super, Lindsay. And I'm going to stick with you for one more question, because I think when people are frustrated or when they are energetic, they want an on-ramp, and they want it now, and they want a federal presidential candidate. And so for people on this call that may have been around for years and are still looking for that, or for people who are still asking for what the future looks like, what do you think is the most important thing that this party can do over the coming years to disrupt the political system that we have now?
So it's twofold. It's building the political party in order to run candidates and then get out the vote for those candidates. So it's people. I'll go back, I'll scoop Andrew's answer as well, which is at the end of the day, it's people. It's the people who are serving on our executive committees around the country. It's the 250,000 members that Forward has around the country. And then it's someone standing up and raising their hand and saying, okay, I'll do it. I'll be the one to run for office, but all y'all better come around me and support me and knock on doors and raise the money and do the work. So it is the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, I'll let you wrap up, because I took a little trip down memory lane today, and I found a picture of me wearing one of your campaign shirts from 2020 with a slogan that meant so much to me: not left, not right, forward. And I think a lot of people have gravitated towards that slogan. You've been in the news a lot recently because there's a person who is very interested in starting a new third party and may just be the richest man in the world, richest person in the world. What does this mean for the future of Forward? I know people are eager to hear from you.
Yeah, my phone blew up so much over those couple of days from journalists, social media followers, friends asking what was going on. And Elon's team did reach out. Elon famously followed me on X, and now it's kind of funny. I was showing my kids. It's like, hey guys, Elon just followed Dad on X. It's been a little while. So I think anyone highlighting just how bad things are getting and wanting to build an alternative is a huge plus. And a lot of folks' wheels started turning over those days, because they're like, wait a minute. One, do I love the two-party system? And two, is it possible to build an alternative? And if Elon were to supercharge it with money and media spotlight from X, like what would that look like? So a lot of folks started to think differently over those days. And then, by the way, Forward's social media followers and mailing list all grew during that time too, because there's the hypothetical, which is still where Elon's America Party lies. And then there's the real and concrete and tangible and human, and that's us. And so folks who are excited about this movement, I think it's always a win, because we are the best in the country at actually creating an alternative, where it's all you, we're winning races and running candidates. We're grinding away at ballot access. Like, we're doing the work. And one thing I do want to really have us celebrate is that this is our third birthday as the new Forward. I mean, there are a lot of people who think, oh, we need an alternative, and then like don't do much or anything, or they show up for an hour and then disappear. But like, this is the crew that's like, okay, we need it today, we need it tomorrow, we need it 3 months from now, we need it. You know what I mean? And that's what the country needs. More than anything else, it needs people to roll up their sleeves, be committed, and that's really everyone who's here today. So we have a lot to celebrate.
Well, thank you guys for your steadiness and for doing the hard work that is really going to pay off. And Brandon, I think I'm back to you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Ah, thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Andrew. That's amazing, y'all. Okay. Remember to text those donations, $5, $15, $30, $300, whatever it is that you can give. Please give it today. Send a text or click on the link. But you know what? I want to see where we're at, because I know that y'all have been doing some amazing work with it. Whoa! We are at, what is this? Was it 75% of our net? What? Y'all rock stars too, man. I thank y'all. Oh man. See, I knew this was the right party to come to tonight. Man, okay. So keep remembering that by donating, every donation is matched to me. And let's keep dropping those questions. I think we should go to one now. Let me see what the next question is. Oh, this is a really good question from Scott Weinberg. Forward still has no single policy platform, and instead says it will defer to voters and party members to set out policy that reflects common ground in their communities, local, state, or even national. This is awesome. When will Forward engage members to start generating common sense, citizen-led solutions? Lindsay, can you answer this one for us as well?
Are we able to pull Forward Executive Chair Carrie Healy on?
No, yes.
Can we pull her up here?
Yes.
This is her favorite subject.
Oh, come on, then. Come on, here, come on, let's do it. Is she here?
Is there a way we can pull Carrie on? I am here. Brandon, will you repeat the question?
Yes. Okay.
And let the Lieutenant Governor answer one of her favorite questions.
So Scott asked, Forward still has no single policy platform, and instead says it will defer to voters and party members to set out policy that reflects common ground in their communities, local, state, or nationally. And this is awesome. When will Forward engage members to start generating common sense citizen-led solutions?
Well, thank goodness this is exactly the right moment to be asking that question, because the moment is now. So we're putting together right now working groups that are going to be both pulling together experts and leaders in various fields to try to come up with some ideas that are really forward ideas, that aren't left ideas or right ideas, ones that are really out of the box, ones that are imaginative, ones that defy, any kind of definition. But that are really in the best interest of the people. And so we're going to pull together those experts, but we're also at the same time going to be drawing on experts from our state parties that are beginning to do some very robust policy work. I know here in Massachusetts, where I am right now, they have a whole policy committee working on those things. I believe in North Carolina they do as well. And so that work has begun, and we would welcome you into it. Please make yourself known to Lindsay or myself if you'd like to engage, and we'd love to have your ideas, and we'd like to fold you into that. By January, we hope to start vetting some of those ideas with the general Forward membership. And we aren't going to be telling you what to think. We're not going to say this is our platform. What we're going to say is, here are some really interesting ideas that have been generated by people who have been very thoughtful about these big concerns for society. And what do you think about them? And if our candidates like them and they want to pick them up and take them into those 2025, 2026, those 2026 races at that point, we encourage that, but we will never be telling people what they have to believe if they're going to be a Forwardist.
That was great. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Healy. Awesome. Okay. Now, of course, none of this, and I mean none of this, is possible without our amazing volunteers. And our volunteer groups are made up of a diverse group of fantastic people from all over the country. These are people dedicating their time to fixing our broken political system and giving hope to all of us on this call that politics and government can work for all of us, not just some of us. I want to introduce you to a few folks right now and get some of their most fun and most interesting perspectives on what it's like to be a forward volunteer. And now, Lindsay, I'm going to ask you to moderate this one since you're up here with me. But I want to introduce first a few amazing people. First, we have Sophia Nielsen. Then there's Clint Eisenhower, Sarah Check, and MJ Hall.
Thanks, Brandon. I'll tell you, people ask, how do we keep doing this work? It's so hard, and some days you feel like Sisyphus, you're pushing the boulder up the hill. And I said, all you need to do is get in your car, get on a plane, dial into a Zoom, and spend time with our state's leads and our volunteers and our committee leads around the country. And you will be so inspired that you will get up again and keep doing the hard work. And so I'm so excited to chat with you all tonight. Sarah Check, you are a lead for our Veterans and Military's Families Committee. Tell us how you answer when someone gives you a skeptical look. What's your go-to answer when someone gives you a skeptical look about Forward?
Thank you, Lindsay. It's such an honor to be here tonight to be a part of this movement, as well as the Veteran and Military Families Committee. Happy birthday, Forward, and hello, everyone. So I love this question because truly there is nothing that I love more than talking with someone who's skeptical about Forward. Skepticism or even negativity is still engagement, and that mindset shift has really helped me stop viewing interactions like this with disappointment and start viewing them as a challenge. The truth is, we're taking on a gargantuan task by building another viable party in the US, and we are up against some obstacles that appear insurmountable, not the least of these being the hearts and minds of our fellow Americans. By nature, most Americans are skeptical of politics and political parties, especially Americans who are independent voters and thinkers. The only way for us to reach these Americans is by listening to their skepticism, empathizing with their concerns, and extending the offer to include them in the process, which we've already done so many times here tonight. No matter how my interaction goes with a skeptic, my intent is not to leave the conversation having won or being able to say gotcha with facts and data. My intent and my hope is that I leave them with something to think about. Generally, that means I answer their skepticism by asking them to get involved and by expressing that our movement relies on people like them sharing their experience. Ultimately, we want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And that's what I tell people.
That's amazing, Sarah. I think that idea of build it with us, we're building it, build it with us. And it goes back to Carrie's answer too, to the question that she had related to our policy platform, which is, we're not going to tell you exactly what that is. You come and help us decide. So leave it as an open invitation. Clint, you are the chair of the South Carolina Forward Party. And I know for a fact, because I've been down and visited you in Charleston, this guy is out there knocking on doors, collecting signatures, making sure that he's out there sign waving on the side of highways for candidates. So Clint, when you're out there doing all this amazing work in the field on behalf of Ford and building the South Carolina Ford Party, what is the craziest, most outrageous thing that has happened to you when you're out there in the field on behalf of Forward?
Yeah, well, thanks, Lindsay. Appreciate it. And happy birthday to all of us, right? Woo-woo! And keep the money coming in. That's wonderful. We need it. So everybody on this call probably has had experience door knocking and knows that it's a challenge. It always is. And you'll meet some unpleasant people, but thankfully not very many. However, I have been chased off a porch with a lady with a big broom before, and I think she was kidding. I think she was laughing, but I didn't go back to check. But since we're on the subject, I did want to mention that I have discovered and this, at least this is new to me, a real game changer for knocking on doors. Before, I used to go and say, "Hey, I'm Clint Eisenhower. I'm in the neighborhood talking to folks about, Molly Jones," and After about 15 seconds, their eyes would glaze over. They start looking over their shoulder, and clearly they would disengage. But now I found kind of another secret, and it goes like this: is what I say, and this is my new fastball, by the way. Is my opening line is, "Hi, I'm Clint Eisenhower, and I've got a dozen things that I'd rather be doing right now than standing on your porch, knocking on your door, and interrupting your day. But I'm here because it is that important. You have 3 minutes. Will you give me 3 minutes?" And then I can tell my story. It has changed the game. I promise you. So now, if I see a broom or any other kitchen utensils, I'm out of there. And I think you should be too. But anyway, that's my tip. Happy birthday, everybody. This has been a wonderful event, and thank you.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you. MJ, you are co-chair of the Black Voters Committee, and you also are a major leader in the North Carolina Forward Party. We always love to talk about you and Pat and your kind of differences of opinion, but then how you and Pat Newton as your co-chair come together from a place of solutions. So what's the most unexpected place you've had a conversation with someone about the Forward Party?
Okay, where do I start? There's been a lot just as we evolve. One thing that's pretty cool is riding around with Pat. He has like this green car. It's really like attention grabbing, and he has a sign on the back that like is pretty much for the Forward Party. And then we ride around in that thing together, and it's like the looks we get. Because if you could see Pat, you would understand like the difference. And when you see us out in public,
Happy anniversary to Pat and his wife. That's why they're not here tonight.
yes, exactly. I can't ask too much of them because we already ask a lot, and I can't ask them to get a divorce for us. Okay, so you know, yeah. So hanging out with Pat always get some attention. I've been stopped in the bathroom a couple times. One time I was in the bathroom and this lady's like, "Hey," and I'm thinking like she's on the phone, so I just go into the stall. And then when I get out, she's still out there waiting for me. And she's like, I wanted to ask, like, I've seen this. What is this group you're a part of? Not left, not right, forward. And we had a good conversation. And, she was like, she didn't agree with it completely, but, at least we're getting the conversation started. So we've had some instances like that. There's this one time at this festival called Feel Good Fest in North Carolina, in Charlotte, where this mom came up to us and she like kind of broke off from her group. It was like her church group, and she was like they were on the verge of kicking her out because she had differing views from them and blah blah blah. And she was like, "We need this group," and they managed to come over and talk to us. So it was really cool. There's a lot of different experiences, but definitely hanging out with Pat is probably one of the funniest ones for me, just because no one can understand why we're hanging out together, and it's like we're starting this movement together, which is really cool. And speaking of North Carolina, we need upwards of 14,000 signatures by the 2020 election cycle, which starts in December. So a couple of donors have managed to raise a matching fund of $15,000. And essentially, it's to help us get legitimacy with our candidates and our supporters that we have, and help us to find more. It's important to get ballot access. And in North Carolina, there's been some obstacles, but believe it or not, unaffiliated voters are the majority. So we'll drop that in the chat for you guys. We need upwards of 14,000 signatures. Right now, we're using a hybrid structure. So much volunteer and working together, but our professional vendors are making it easy because they're on their second 1,000 batch already. So thank you guys for everything you do, and I'm happy to be here tonight. And thanks, Lindsay. I just wanted to put that in for my guys.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, MJ. Okay, Sophia Nelson, in Virginia, we're going to have you close out this session. You are the state party vice chair of communications, and you've had incredible success at Forward Virginia with your fireside chat series. Sophia also is an incredible Twitter warrior. I am very intimidated by how publicly you are. It's so inspiring, Sophia. So tell us about the engagement that those fireside chats are driving, and what has that series done to grow the party in the Commonwealth?
Well, first of all, happy birthday to us, and thank you to all of the guests. I was super thrilled that you had Michael on and others. Just awesome job, Lindsay and team. We needed to get people engaged and excited, and they weren't. So one of the things that we discussed was What do you do in a 21st century market where politics is something people are largely turned off to? And what are people tuned into? And what people are tuned into, Lindsay, is their phones and their devices and having big names and big brands and people we all know that they can listen to and be engaged with. So we started putting together various speakers. You were one of them. I really went through all of our leadership because I thought it was important to have Andrew and Christy and Carrie and yourself. And I'm going to have Kayla on next month as our new political director. But we really had a lot of engagement in the Commonwealth and nationally from people who would see it on social media or through the e-blast. And it's a great way to expose leadership to the grassroots and to potential donors, etc., so that they learn more about what Forward is about. And I don't need to tell you this, I think people need to know us and they need to see us and they need to hear from us. The two big parties have megaphones. They're all over the national media now. Luckily, I'm on the national media as a journalist and a commentator and analyst, and so are you. And so we get FaceTime, but we're not enough. And so I think that we needed to inspire that Virginia base. And we have some exciting things coming up soon that I don't want to break just yet, but it's all about engaging the grassroots. So I want to encourage state party leaders and others who are listening right now and on the chat feeds. You have to be innovative, creative. You have to come outside of the box. And you have to get people who are turned off, and a lot of people are turned off to the two-party noise, and they want independents to do something. They want to be we the people again, but you got to give them something to come to.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And you've built it, Sophia, MJ, Sarah, Clint, you all are building it in your own states. Thank you so much. You all are extraordinary. Back to you, Brandon.
What? Wow. First of all, do y'all see the passion? I am like just moved by how fun, how amazing, but also how innovative y'all are of just getting in and talking to the people. So thank you so much for all that you do. Lindsay, thank you for taking it on. Clint, Sarah, and Sophie and MJ, thank you for joining us and sharing your story and giving of your time and of yourself to volunteer for the Forward Party. It takes volunteers to make this happen. Please reach out to Forward if you want to become a volunteer and put in the solution, much like these heroes have for themselves and for their states. Okay, remember to text those donations. Whatever you can give today, we absolutely will appreciate. Send a text, click the link. Let's see where we are on the meter. Oh, we are almost there, y'all. I absolutely want to give a shout out to Joe Smith. He literally just gave a phenomenal donation. Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate you. You are phenomenal. But wait, hold a minute. I'm getting another text. We just raised another 1,000. We are just $2,500 in donations away from hitting our goal tonight. So thank you guys so much. We are almost there. Let's keep this party going with another question. All right, here it is. This is from Josie Keller. Josie asks, many people involved in politics dismiss the Forward Party as a promoter of spoiler candidates who will draw votes away from candidates who have a reasonable chance and who will be the lesser of two evils, if not the ideal candidate for us. In the absence of ranked choice voting, what should I tell them regarding this critique? You know, I'm going to give this to Andrew. Andrew, would you mind answering this one for us?
Oh, sure thing. No, what I tell people is, look, 70% of the 500,000 plus races are uncontested or uncompetitive, and 39 of the 50 states have effective one-party rules. So you're not looking at being a spoiler, you're looking at actually creating an option or an alternative And then I often I get specific. I ask them who represents them in Congress, because 90% of the congressional districts, as Michael Smerconish would say, it's like you know who's going to represent you in one part or the other. And so when they start actually reflecting on a little bit, then they realize, wait a minute, it's actually more of like an argument that someone else implanted in my head than an actual reflection of my own situation or the facts. And so then I try and turn them in that direction. But most of them haven't really thought about the specifics, that they really are parroting a talking point that someone else gave them. It really is what's happening.
Great. Thank you so much. That is so right. Right. I was in a conversation the other day with some people, and I was like, that we are a spoiler. Not the way you think. Right. We're here to shake it up. We're actually here to switch the whole thing. But as you know, we are building the infrastructure we need to compete. The infrastructure we need to build this party from the ground up, and to give us the system we need to prove the naysayers wrong. This is what differentiates us from past efforts to build new parties. We're not giving up. We are building durable infrastructure from the ground up to compete in elections for decades to come, not just running for a presidential candidate with no base. I want to introduce you to two strong hires for the Forward Party to tell you a little bit about their plans to help take the party to the next level. National Political Director Kyla Birubi, I'm always messing that name up, but I apologize. And our new National Communications Director, John Goodwin, with special guest, your homeboy, yours truly. Forward, and I'm going to give Lindsay is going to take us through these questions. Lindsay, come on back up.
Thanks, Brandon. So, earlier, Lauren Pinkston was asking me about what we need, like what is the thing that we need to really transform change moving forward. And Andrew and I had the same answer, which is people. Politics is people, and politics are, Sarah Check and MJ and Sophia and Clint organizing on the ground. Politics is the people that are Deke Copenhaver and Robin Carnes and Daniel Thatcher, and politics is the people that are the operatives that do the work. And for the independent and third party space, we talked about incentives and we've talked about infrastructure that's made it really difficult to support the movement building and really difficult to support the candidates. But that means that it's been really difficult to attract strong talent and the people who have spent their careers learning how to do this work. And so it is with so much excitement that I announced the hiring of Kayla Birubi as our national political director and John Goodwin as our national communications director, and Brandon Rochon as a member of our board who is leading our brand efforts for many of the state leads. You all had a chance to meet Brandon at a module last month when he talked about how he is going to be shepherding our branding here at Forward, and his purple lighting behind himself. I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, of course, you're a brand expert. You have purple lighting. It's amazing. So Brandon, you have decades of success leading high-profile marketing and branding campaigns for really well-known companies. We know that the market opportunity for Forward is out there. We have hundreds of people on the line who have stayed 4 minutes over schedule with us tonight. How do you see us as uniquely positioned to take advantage of this moment in history?
Absolutely. No, I think when building brand, it's always about the 5 Ps. And we talk about this a lot. What I love about what we have as the Forward Party is the first P is people. We understand people very, very well. And we absolutely love listening to those people and figuring out what is this common sense kind of policies that we want to talk about, which then leads us to the next P, which is purpose, right? So every brand that understands its people and understands its purpose absolutely will win, which then leads us to a platform. And that is what we are building, a platform for people to then participate in. And we see the participation we have from all the great people on this call and so much more, which then gets us to the last P, which is how do we make it pop in culture? And one thing that we know how to do very well is make it pop in culture, but not by using tactics that the other parties have used, but actually using tactics that actually drive people to build community, not separate them. So with all of those things put together, we have the ingredients to build one of the most iconic brands that the world has ever seen.
Okay, I see John Goodwin nodding here. And the dynamic duo that is Brandon, our brand expert, and John with his decades of communications experience, I know that the sky is the limit here. So, John, how important is communication and storytelling to a party? And how are we going to take this vision that Brandon has for our brand and get it out there to recruit all stakeholders at all levels, voters, candidates, everybody?
Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Brandon. It's massively important. We have a great story to tell. And as we've heard tonight, our story is going to keep getting better and keep growing as we recruit candidates, as we build a policy platform. Our story is going to be so dynamic, and we need to get it to the masses. We need to get it to the people. That's going to bring people in. That'll attract volunteers. That'll attract donors. That'll attract candidates. And it's just going to be a cycle. Better story, more people coming into the fold. I think what's most important is we have such a diverse group of forwardists, and we need to build a deep bench of spokespeople. And I think that's a real priority for us is bringing our spokespeople into the fold, training them, and then booking them. And we need to get our spokespeople and our story where people are getting their news and information. That system is so fractured now. It's not, just cable TV, and it's not front page of the New York Times. It's podcasts, it's Substacks, it's YouTube. And we are going to build the infrastructure we need to reach those peoples and get those eyeballs where they get that information with the best forward messages for it. I will admit, I am not going to be the best guy for TikTok. We are going to have those forward voices that are going to appeal to the people on TikTok and the best people for the YouTube, the small papers, the small publications. We are going to reach out to everyone, and we're going to build this network with the best forward messengers and the best messages you've ever heard.
That sounds a lot like what Sophia was talking about, what they've built in Virginia, and we're going to continue to scale this around the country. John, did that sound like a call to action for you for people to sign up as spokespeople and surrogates for Forward?
Yeah, if the more the merrier. We'll sign up. Put your name in the chat.
Absolutely.
We'll
Well,
reach out, and something particular interest, or whether it's state level, local level, let us know.
Well, and John, I think as we build this bench of surrogates and we continue to deploy folks on behalf of our movement on all of these different platforms, we all need to be on the same page, okay? And we're all going to get the same question. So, what do we say to the pundits and the reporters who say third parties can't win in America?
Yeah, I think the first thing I say is in a lot of places, the second parties can't win either, can they? Right? We have so many states, so many places where it's just one party. So we're not the third party in some of these places. We very well may be the second party that is challenging the status quo. So that's my first answer. The second part of this is the appetite for this disruption has never been bigger. We see it everywhere. You see it in the media. You see it on podcasts. You hear it everywhere. People are ready. They just need a home that we are building to give them what they need. So now is the time, and look out, duopoly, because we're coming for you.
No kidding. Kayla, welcome. It has been so much fun hitting the ground running and working with Kayla at HQ. Kayla, how many campaigns have you run in your career?
I think one time I had to actually write down all of the addresses that I had living all around the country and moving every time a campaign was over. And I think it was somewhere around 12 states in like 6 years.
Well, what's amazing about Kayla is that not only does she have experience running individual campaigns, she ran a state party. So for all of those folks on the call today who are working to create the structures around a state party, MJ's making an appeal to raise money for her state party. Kayla did that, and she actually did it in Hawaii, which is incredible. And so, Kayla, based on that experience, why do you think Forward can win right now?
I mean, if not now, when? Right? As John mentioned, people are so excited and hungry for real change. Just in the last few weeks, I've been on the team for almost 2 months now, and we've seen a huge influx of interest from folks all across the country. They're raising their hands, they're saying, I'm ready to help make a difference. And while those are really key ingredients, it's unfortunately not quite enough. As a movement, we need to be organized, smart, and well-resourced. Clint and Senator Thatcher and others have mentioned tonight, it's the boots on the ground, it's collecting signatures, it's knocking doors, it's getting chased off porches. Building real campaigns is hard work, and it's not always sexy. but winning is.
Winning is. Nothing builds culture like winning, right, Kayla?
Exactly. And you win campaigns by connecting with people, right? By being real, making them feel heard. And forward candidates are so well positioned to do just that. We know that if we give voters a real choice at the ballot box, like John mentioned, in a lot of the districts where we are going to be running forward party candidates this year and next year, voters haven't had much of a choice in the past. And we know when they're presented with those options, they will choose quality candidates who are going to move our country forward. So we're really excited about the slate of candidates that we're already building.
This is great. How many people have come to our website without being solicited? No one, it's not, Kayla's going to be out there calling people. She's going to be calling all of y'all on the call, asking you to run. But how many people have come to our website and said they want to run for office since January of 2025?
Sure. So it's been about 250 just since January. And keep in mind, folks, we are technically in an off year. I like to say there are no off years. There is no off season, right? We're putting in the hard work this year, but next year is going to be an even bigger year. So that's a huge amount of interest that we're seeing. And these are for candidates who are running for everything from federal office all the way down to local municipal offices. And we need every single one of them.
Well, you are amazing. This is so great. Thank you all for joining the Forward Movement. Thank you for your commitment to our country and our democracy. We are so grateful. Brandon, I will thank you and then hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Thank you, John. That was amazing. You know how much I love this conversation. I hope you guys are learning as much as I am and are getting as fired up as I am. As you can see, I am all the way live now, but you know what? Let's figure out where we are right now with donations, right? Do we got the meter coming up? Where we at? Okay, y'all. Wait a minute. I just got a text. All right. We are $1,400 away from our goal tonight. $1,400. That's it. I believe we can make it.
I saw in the chat, Brandon, we need to top this off and then start donating to this North Carolina ballot access fund.
Come on, Andrew. There we go. I love that. I second that emotion. Okay, let's go to our final question from Patrick Progard. He says, I am a registered Democrat in New Jersey. Given we do not have open primaries, I'm hesitant to switch to independent. Do you have advice for people in New Jersey or other states as to whether they should remain aligned with their current party, or is it best to move to independent? I'm going to give this one to Karen. Are you in the room, Karen? Put you on the spot.
I'm happy to, like, is Carrie? Yeah,
there we go. Carrie's there.
Sorry. So he doesn't have an open primary.
He does. So the question is, he is a registered Democrat in New Jersey. They do not have open primaries. He's hesitant to switch to independent. What advice would you give people in New Jersey or other states where they should remain, whether they should remain aligned with their current party, or is it best to move to independent?
So I would really say that it depends on what his goal is. So if he wants to be a candidate, I say join the Forward Party, become an independent, and start working toward that goal. If you're just going to be someone who participates in our democracy and you feel that your vote is going to still matter more if you're within that two-party system, I'd say stay within it, but then work with us. Be a member of Forward, work with us to open up that system. We understand that we are not at our perfect end state right now. So stick with us, but don't feel that you're trapped. Keep working at it, and we will break the system, and we will open up the two-party duopoly to more options for everyone.
Wow, great. Thank you so much for giving that to us. Amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Lindsay and Andrew to come on back. Come on back. And I want you two to give us our marching orders.
Can we keep our executive chair on the screen there too?
Of course, she can come on.
She's our executive chair. I take my marching orders from her.
Yeah,
so
right,
we've got marching
right?
orders here in place. Thank you to everybody for being here tonight. Thank you so much. We are all working tirelessly at HQ to make sure that these states are resourced, that each and every one of you all are resourced to do the work that you need to do to dig in. So thank you for being here. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Really, I just want to congratulate all of you for doing something that so many Americans still are grasping for, which is actually doing something constructive, productive to give us a real political choice. We can see, I joke that I think someone said it earlier on, that the headlines are doing a lot of recruiting for us because no one's that pumped about what the heck is going on out there. And tens of millions of Americans are like, oh, I wish we had something better. And we're building it. It's going to be one of those processes where you grind, build, grow, and then everyone's like, oh, like, how did that happen? And we'll all know because we've been here doing the hard work, town by town, brick by brick. But that's how this movement is going to grow and succeed. And I will say that despite this process, all of these things tend to go nonlinear at a certain point. And it could be that there's a major candidate in a particular place. And so I'm here in California talking to a guy named Rick Caruso, who I think there's a good chance he runs as an independent for either mayor of Los Angeles or governor of California. There's a guy named Mike Duggan, who we're very, very friendly with, who signed the Forward Pledge. He's the current mayor of Detroit. He's running for governor of Michigan. And so you could wind up with an independent governor of Michigan in like year and change. And then there would be all the punditry being like, how did that happen? And it's because there's a huge appetite. I mean, if you listen to Mike Duggan's messaging, it's 95% what you heard tonight, because he's been trying to deliver solutions to the people of Detroit. And now he wants to do the same statewide. So this movement could end up with a governor of a major state, and that could happen in November 26th. In addition to all the other work that we're doing, Dan Osborne's running for Senate as an independent in Nebraska, and he got 47% last time. Like, there are these major opportunities, and as a serial entrepreneur, we do the day by day, and then when the curve spikes, then we capitalize on it. But you can't capitalize on it unless you're laying the groundwork. So we have to keep on delivering, but so grateful to all of you. There's so much love of country on the Zoom. I don't know if you feel it. There's so much of a spirit of service. You got it from every single person who spoke, and I'm sure every single person who's on the chat and here. It's the only way out. If you think about it, and this, I'll make a math joke and then give it to Carrie. But it's like process of elimination, because it's not going to come from either the two existing parties. So where does that leave you? It leaves you probably with the people on the Zoom tonight.
Well, I would just quickly add, first of all, thank you to Lindsay and to Brandon for putting together such a wonderful showcase of our incredible volunteers and leaders tonight. They're so inspirational, but I wish I could also show you, and we had hours long enough to show you all of the candidates who are coming forward, who are saying, we think we want to be forward candidates. We're independents, but we want to be forward aligned. We want things to change. We want to be able to become forward members if you'll prepare the soft landing for us so we can leave those two parties and have a place to go. People are longing for what you are building, and if we build it, they really will come, and we're beginning to see that. And I'm with Andrew. I think this time next year, the group of people who will call themselves Forwardists will be U.S. senators. There'll be people who are running for U.S. Senate. There'll be people who are governors of major states. We are going to have extraordinary individuals with great integrity, great patriotism, who are going to step forward and lead this country. And everyone always comes to me and says, who's your great leader in Forward? Who's going to be that person? And I think there are going to be 10 of them. I think that they are people whose names we may not know right now, but I know they're out there because all of you are out there, and all of you are doing this work in the belief that there's a better America ahead for us. And I just want to thank you, and can't wait to see what we build. Congratulations, Andrew, for starting this incredible movement.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the 4th birthday, the 5th birthday, the 6th birthday, and on and on. It's just going to get better and better.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And I want to tell you guys, I just found out that we hit our goal.
Woo!
We hit our goal. Thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for all of the participation. Thank you for all the speakers. And in what I always like to say in the famous words of the prophet Biggie Smalls, who thought that the Forward Party would take it this far, y'all? This is just the beginning. Thank you to our guests and our speakers. What an amazing 3 years. And like Andrew said, here's to an amazing 30 more. Let's continue to prove them all wrong in the next 3 years and beyond. Continue to text your donations and visit the link and to get involved. And thank you for your generosity and all your love. And have a wonderful, wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Let's
Thank
go.
you, everybody. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Nice work, Brandon. You're a pro.
Oh, we had a good old time tonight. That's why we the Forward Party. Like, no,
Hi, everyone.
Night.
I was so confident we are going to hit the goal. I went ahead and donated to North Carolina.
Love that.
That's an anniversary present to Pat.
There you go.
Gonna be
No,
happy.
no.